You're listening to Empire of Rust, the world's first and only Transformers RPG podcast. Join the heroes of Iacon as they defend Cybertronian civilization from the remnants of Cybertron First to Lord Starscream's egotistical leadership, and beyond to the unknown threats on the other side of distant stars.
Welcome back to Empire of Rust, the one, the only, and the absolute best Transformers live play RPG podcast. Podcast. You know, I haven't actually checked in with you guys for a while. You know, I've just kind of jumped right in with everything. That's not true. I've bullshitted up front before, but you know what? I think we should have a quick little check-in on here because last 2 weeks episode was all Magnum and Sweet Spot focused. Like Carapace and Wildstrike, you guys didn't have a chance to shine at all.
I'm going to allow it.
How do you feel about this Wildstrike? You just want to go nose first into Sweet Spot?
I mean, I could have just gone nose first into the courtroom and solved the whole problem right there.
you could have. It's a lost opportunity.
We do.
Meanwhile, Carapace is just sitting around in a courtroom. It's like, well, but why are you talking? Why? I am so angry right now.
I'm not angry. Like I'm not. My priorities are different than you people. That's it. I'm not angry all the time. It's not my fault that violence is often the best solution.
Listen, I know you're trying to be funny, but I run a serious game here. That's not true at all. That's not even a little bit.
Well, I will try. How's that? I will do my best.
Speaking of serious games, I make the joke, but I always tend to run serious games, I think, because the first game that I ever played, the first D&D game I ever played in was a serious game. Is that the same for you guys? The first game that you played, is that the kind of games that you prefer to play and you prefer to run? Or is it just me?
That's an interesting question. I find that I think for me, it's a lot of who you play with. Because, my first games, I can remember my first character was a dwarven cleric, and there's a second edition, and I think we played once, and then that was it. I didn't have a story. And then after that, I played an ogre named, Dwarf of Oof. I mean, it's kind of hard to, but it was we ended up playing it for 20 years. So it was crazy. From first level characters, slaves to demigods, or actual gods. But I know, I personally, I tend to play fairly serious characters unless I know I'm playing in a ridiculous game, and then I can do that. But my default is definitely serious. And I know when I was in college, playing with Matt and Rob, the fact that Rob didn't take games seriously drove me fucking crazy. Because I was always trying, I was playing this ancient, wise, skilled wizard elf rogue guy, and he's just yeah, my name is Hammer Dick, ha ha, and it was and it used to drive me fucking nuts. It really did. And after a while, I just realized, well, that's Rob. So now I just...
The more serious that you are, the more he lays into you.
Yeah, so after a while, I was just oh, right, now I just don't take Rob seriously, and then I started to have more fun. I could just patently ignore him, and, the games are better. But my default is definitely, I prefer serious or ridiculous, but I don't, not in the same game. I'm kind of an all or nothing.
I'm never terribly serious. I mean, I was trying to be serious when I was DMing a long time ago when Pat was in the game, but I think I've embraced silliness at this point. But my first game was a player with Rob, so I also have a Rob experience when I just started out. So yeah, I was probably the very first character he changed the name of, so I have that distinction. So at this point, I could. Nothing I'm going to run is going to be super serious. It might have some serious plot, but I mean, the last thing I ran was Mutants and Masterminds, which is about as silly as you get.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was remembering the Grumpf planet, where it was like we met these like alien race where like it was like Smurf, where they would just say Grumpf. Like, so Grumpf was their word, and like, so every Grumpf that we met was named Grumpf, and you're just like, like, you're like, it was...
You're trying to ask for directions, I mean.
Yeah. But they were also like that mixed with like treants, because like they would just like all wait for like 10 minutes to make sure that you were ready to like actually stop talking. Because they didn't want to be rude.
They're part frog. They would just wait for you to say something.
Yes.
That's the culture.
Yeah.
You know.
What about you, Mike? Because you ran a Star Trek game, which was ridiculously silly, and you ran a Pathfinder game, which was surprisingly serious.
Kind of how my games started out. I started playing in D&D 2nd Edition games and White Wolf games that were more serious, but then I would run them for my cousins, and every single vampire game would start off with one of my cousins owning a bar and the other cousin going into the bar, ordering a milk, waiting to get made fun of so he could start a fight. Every single game.
Talk about your tropes.
That's great.
Yeah. So I started off with a mix of both.
You know, that works. That works. Well, let me ask you this: which do you prefer to play in? Which do you prefer to play in? Which do you prefer to run? Do you like the silly ones, or do you want
both. It really depends. I recently ran a Starfinder Adventure Path and Rob was in the game, and it just became ridiculously silly, and that's how the game turned out, and it was fun. But there was a follow-up that we were thinking about doing, which was a more serious horror-themed game, which I just couldn't do with that group.
Asterisk.
It just wouldn't work. And Pat was in that group, so he knows.
I mean, as a DM, the players will often determine, really the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Star Trek game that you ran, Mike, was where
that was designed to be more serious type Star Trek type game, and you guys just started going crazy with it. So that's how it worked out, and it was absolutely fine. As long as everybody's having fun, it works for me.
That was your fault.
It was a blast.
For some reason, you made Rob the captain.
Yeah, that's...
No, I asked who wants to be the captain, and Rob didn't want to be the captain, actually. He was the only one that didn't have another job.
Oh, no. So
he wasn't
the captain.
The cast on that one was ridiculous. It was Rob as the Orion slave girl captain. It was Matt as a Horta chief engineer.
Yes.
Science officer.
Science officer.
I was the engineer.
Yeah.
Hortas were like the rock creatures from the original Star Trek
The ones that
series.
ate the lava things with the eggs?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I knew that!
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Adam, you were playing a Andorian?
You're darn right I was.
Yep, with the little antennas.
I was an ill-tempered little Smurf.
An angry Andorian engineer, and I was playing the red shirt, Ensign Ricky. I may have been a lieutenant. I was in charge of security, so...
Yeah.
Look, I can remember a game that we played, a Star Wars game in college, and Rob was Robbie Solo in the Millennium Dodge, and we had Jerk Baka the Wookiee was like his thing, and that's the kind that's what he did. He just made absurd things, and but I mean somehow. We as much as we like to rip on Rob, it's like he's funny enough to make it work, and that's,
Oh, this is all complimentary to him, really.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Where it's like, as far as like gaming philosophies, it's like there's like levels of seriousness where it's like, okay, we need to count how many arrows that we have, and it's more about like gritty survival. I hate that. That bugs the fuck out of me. Like, I don't enjoy that. Like, I like to get to the fantasy stuff where it's like, well, it's not about if we survive. We know we're gonna survive. It's how well did you survive? Like, tell me how you kicked ass. Like, not just like, well, did we survive opening the door? Like, I hate that. It's just like, let's get to the show off part. Like that's so that's where I think things are silly. Like I like it when it just becomes more.
You don't think a death could be spectacular?
No, because I think that large aspects of reality suck enough for me that I don't see death as a positive thing in games.
What if you felt like changing characters? Like you started out with a character, it didn't quite live up to your expectations, you're not building it the way that you're wanting to, and you want to try something else because the campaign is going to be ongoing for a while. Talk to the GM, and you devise some point, you don't know when your character is going to die.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You wouldn't play into that?
But that's a choice. Like, that's like I'm like deciding like to make a story. It's like if I ever write a story and you're like, okay, you know, you need that Deus Ex Machina moment where it's just like, okay, this is the catalyst for the next hero to become. But when that's forced upon me, I tend to dislike it.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way for future.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. I mean, like you guys, just as an example, the players are in like a tunnel and it's dark, it's greasy, it's dark, and so they light a torch, and the grease turns out to be flammable, and they get propelled down the tunnel and dumped into a lake, you know, with a big explosion. I mean, that is hilarious until somebody dies, you know?
Right. But it's like,
I mean, I always enjoy the failures. There's
a point when it's like, how much do we let the dice tell us what to do, and how much do we want the story to be fun and interesting? Like it's like we played again, you know, with that game that we played in college. We had a Claude in the party who was like effectively just like a stupid rogue that was really strong, but half of their class features were like survive trap comically, or like ripping pockets, or like just like moving unstoppably, and it was like they were absurd, but they survived because that was just kind of their niche. You know, it's just like, it's what they did. But it's like, if you were to actually like break them down, you'd be like, well, this is dumb. Like, why would you do this? But it was awesome. It was really, really fun.
I think it's a good thing. Every once in a while, I don't think every game should be like this, but every once in a while to survive something terrible, or have to deal with something terrible that the characters all have to, you know, they got to cope with this, take on that.
Well, that has its value too.
Well, Mike, I know you said that you got stuck in the bars early on in your career, and guess what? You're heading towards another one.
Oh boy, here we go. What's the Transformer equivalent of milk?
It's like wind washer fluid. Yeah. Antifreeze.
Windshield washer.
Too cold. I got an antifreeze headache.
Why would antifreeze be too cold?
Shut up. You know what I meant. It's the opposite.
All right, Carapace, Wildstrike, the two of you are heading down the street, and you are almost to the bar that the message that the guy who shouldered you out of the way, Carapace, the place where he told you to meet him.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll me up a perception check, both of you.
Perception.
Just give me one solid perception check. All you need is just one solid one. That's all.
Modified 25.
What's a good one? What about you, Wildstrike? Can you do better?
28.
Oh, you did better. Look at that.
Best I could roll is a 29, so that was good.
Both of you hear the sounds of a fight coming from around the corner of the bar that you're heading towards. So you can either go in the bar or you can check around the side.
I can't help but smile and look at Wildstrike and head towards the commotion.
Go ahead.
I just put the two of you on the map, so go ahead and place yourselves where you'd like. As you walk around the corner, you can see a very odd sight. Two cyborgs are beating up a waist-high mechanical being.
Dude, these guys' abs. Shit. Oh, you got a new icon, Wildstrike. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You look thick with like 3 C's.
What do you want to do? What's the plan here?
Do you want any help?
That's a very honest question. I like it.
Who answers, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. Depending on who responds.
So the small bot will pipe up, "Yes, help me, they're beating me up." And the two thugs will say,
"Yeah, go ahead and come in and join us here."
That's awesome.
Now we negotiate.
Do you want to go in first, little guy?
No, why don't you go ahead? I'll go over you.
Okay.
Just so you know, Carapace, you do recognize the little small bot, the waist-high bot. That's the guy who bumped into you.
Okay, well.
Oh, that makes it different.
Yeah. So I was
a little bit, right?
Yeah, I was going to kick him while he was down, but now it's okay. Well, let's step on in. Do you want us to roll initiative?
Step on in. Yes, roll for initiative.
An 8.
All right, an 8. And Carapace, what about you?
I also got an 8.
Oh, well, Wildstrike, what's your bonus? Your dex bonus.
That would be a 6.
And Carapace?
Also a 6.
Looks like we got a roll off here.
Stop it.
Oh, a 5. Beat that.
Okay, I got a 17 then.
All right, well, that means, Carapace, you're going first then.
Okay, I will step past. Am I squeezing in this corridor here?
Now the corridor is 10 feet wide, so you can walk up to them. If you do want to get to the guy in the back, though, you are going to end up squeezing.
Right. Well, I'm just gonna hit this guy. So, let's see, what is my physical weapons?
So you got a thug up front, you got a thug to the side, and you got this little guy off in the back, getting beaten up.
Can I make a kind of like a sense motive to determine how do these guys look competent, or are they just thugs?
Go ahead, make a sense motive.
Sense motive, natural 1. So that's a 3.
They look super beefy.
Okay.
Look at those abs.
Right.
Come on.
Well, I'm not as accustomed to fighting organics, so it's they all look kind of weak to me.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Okay, so I hit a 23 to hit.
23 to hit. That is going to be a hit.
Sweet. Then I do.
I assume you're attacking the one up front?
Yes, yep. I do minimum damage, 5 points of slashing damage.
Only 5 points of slashy, huh? Okay. They see this super beefy bot coming up over here, so the thug in the back is going to take a guarded step to move up to you, so both of them are now right next to you. But the one on the left can take a full attack, the one on the right cannot. Let's go ahead and see what we got going on here. So they are going to swing at you with what looks like a battle axe.
Wow.
The one on the left is going to make a full attack.
Okey-dokey.
That is going to be a 15 on the first hit, likely a miss, and that is going to be a. This is a good hit here. It's going to be a 31 minus 4, so a 27 on the second hit.
My armor class is 27.
Oh, just barely hit you, but still, I had to roll an 18 to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's with a minus 4,
and
though, so.
True. And the other guy swings for a 24, so that's a miss on you.
Correct.
And now for the damage. 4, 8, 10, total of 26 damage.
Jesus Christ. That's not a casual hit.
It's not.
That's
Maybe if you rolled a bit higher in your sense motive, I would have. Okay. I told you they looked beefy. Yeah. I mean,
that's a lot.
It is, but you got some DR. You're fine. You're gonna live forever. Don't worry, dude. All right, Wildstrike. You just saw Carapace took a pretty big hit. A couple of misses in there, but still a big hit. What do you want to do?
Well, I don't want to shoot through him, so I want to quickly transform and fly over and drop behind.
You can definitely do that. Where are you going to land?
Back there.
Keep yourself out of melee range for those folks. Yeah, sure, I can understand that.
So is that just considered a move then?
Yeah, that's a move. You can transform as a part of your move action, so you're good.
Alrighty, then I will take a shot at this guy in front of me, the one that's next to Carapace.
All right, go and do it. That is the one that has not taken a hit yet.
27 to hit.
Ooh, bam. Yeah, 27's definitely a hit.
That's 26 damage. Electricity and fire.
Electricity and fire, you say? I don't believe I have anything to worry about for that. I don't know yet, but I'll keep that in mind. That's as much damage as he did to Carapace.
Yeah, now he knows what it feels like.
Speaking of Carapace, we are back to top of the round. That's round 2. That's round 2 if you're keeping track over here. Let's do it. Let's do it, Carapace.
Well, I'm going to take a shot at him with my Yellow Star Plasma Array.
Okay, which means you are going to provoke.
Correct. And I'm going to activate my blaster mode.
That is going to be a 22 to hit and a 26 to hit.
Those are both misses.
All right, go ahead and do your attack.
Does a 16 hit?
16 does not.
Okay.
How'd you roll a 16?
I rolled a 3. That happens.
Okay.
You know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that there's a whole bunch of numbers below 10 on the dice.
Yeah. Yep.
You'd almost say there half of them were.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that. Not quite half, but almost
45%, yeah.
If only it were 50-50.
All right, well, that brings it back to my guys on here. Well, the big threat is right in front of them, so I think they're just going to have to start standing and banging on you, Carapace.
Okay, bring it.
They're not going to do full attacks, they're just going to do singles. Okay, dude on the left hits a 27 exactly. Dude on the right is a miss with a 24.
Okay. And these are both battle axes?
Yeah, you can say that. They're both battle axes. That is going to be 24 again. Wow. Slightly different rolls this time, but still pretty close. So, nope, not 26, a 24, I said.
Okay.
So, 24 to you. This is all physical damage as well.
Okay. So 24 to 20 damage then?
Let's see here. And while they are slicing you up, this guy, your little informant here, is going to back up to next to you, Wildstrike.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That provokes.
If he withdraws, it does not.
Hopefully.
Provokes some Wildstrike, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to attack.
Actually, it does provoke from Carapace, too, doesn't it? Because you have reach.
It does, but I'm not attacking him.
The little guy will tell you, Wildstrike, watch out for their glaives. And you can see a glaive on each of their backs. Like this big kind of staff with like a bladed weapon on the end of it. So yeah, these guys look like they're packing. So Wildstrike, what do you want to do?
Nose first.
You have a clear path.
Yeah, right.
This is the rock and the hard place that Pat was talking about earlier.
I'm going to continue to shoot at this one here. The same one that I shot at last time. I'm going to do a full attack.
Shooting at righty. All right.
A 27 and an 18.
The 27 is definitely a hit, and the 18 is against EAC, correct?
Yes.
That is also a hit then.
Okay, so the first one does 17 damage.
Ooh, respectable.
And the second does 29.
Oh, man, you are lighting this guy up. 17 and 29, both big old hits. He is still standing, but he looks pretty beat up. He took 2 shots to the face.
Yeah, I'll yell at him to stand down.
Okay.
How are you doing 29? Just out of curiosity.
My weapon does 3d10 plus 6.
Shit. Okay, that'll do it.
Yep.
It's mounted on his nose.
Hey, when he sneezes.
This is one of the weapons we got off of the boss.
Okay, right. That'll do it. Because I'm like, man, like my best
Quick
weapon's 2d10. You know?
Does someone have damage envy?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
What weapon is this, Wildstrike?
The Elite Plasma Bolter that came off of Quick Switch.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Back to top of the round. Round 3, Carapace.
So does a 23 to hit?
23 does hit. Are you sticking with lefty or switching to right?
I am attacking righty, the one who's been hurt more. And I do...
Gotcha.
21 electricity and fire.
You switching it up?
And that is enough to drop righty. Oh. These guys hit hard, but you guys hit even harder.
Righty is wrong.
All right. What does Lefty want to do? He just saw his friend hit. He's going to take one more swing at you, and he's going to try and see if he can bring you down or really kind of hurt you there. Rolled a 27 again.
Okay.
Not 14 on that one.
Then the hits.
Yeah, Lefty's always been less dominant.
Nice. Let's see here. That is gonna be a 22. I keep on just dropping damage on this one.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okie dokie.
And Wildstrike. What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm going after that other guy then. I'll do another full attack.
All right.
And I think I get 2 misses, a 14 and a 13.
Whew, those are 2 misses.
Yikes.
He's not afraid. He's not afraid of
I
you
told
at
you
all.
to stand down. Those are warning shots.
You can't hit the broadside of a bot.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, all right, Carapace.
I will take 2 attacks on this one. Oh, whatever. That's going away.
And you, Nico, don't go anywhere. I'm not done with you yet.
I'm going to take double shots so he gets an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, he does. 23. Miss.
That is a miss. Okay, so these are at -4, so that is a 14. So does a 27 hit?
27 is a solid hit.
Does
yes.
a 26?
Yes,
Does a 26 hit?
That is also a hit.
Okay,
yep. Both good solid hits.
Pretty sweet damage here. Okay, so I've got 16 plus 6, so that's 22.
Yeah, all right, 22.
And then the second one is almost max damage. That's 19 plus 6, so that's 25. Again, electricity and fire.
Yeah, he's looking a little bit worse for wear.
And I say, there's no point in surrendering, so keep going. Intimidation. That is a 29.
29 on Intimidate. Well, he seems a little scared. And what he is going to do on his turn then is he is actually going to take a guarded step back, putting some distance between the two of you. I don't think he quite realizes that that you can reach him from there. And he has his weapon out, but it's more in a defensive pose now rather than an offensive one.
Okay.
And that's it for him. Wildstrike.
I'm going to take a guarded step in front of him to put myself between the other bot and him.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I will take a shot at him.
That will provoke.
It will not.
It will not.
It will not provoke for you.
18.
And yes, that's a hit.
21 damage.
Bam. He is still alive, but he looks very hurt. That means, Carapace, it is up to you. You can attempt to get him to surrender again, or you can just take him out.
I have not ever attempted for him to surrender yet.
Well, intimidate, you know.
No, that's
right.
That's just for the fear before the kill. I am not going to take a multiple. I'm only going to take one attack just because he is harder to hit right now. And I rolled a 16 on the die, so that is a 29.
Oh, that's a hit.
Okie dokie.
That is definitely a hit.
And I rolled a 9 and a 7, so that's 16 plus 6 is 22 electricity and fire damage.
And dead. You knock him against the wall, and he falls to the ground. He is not moving anymore.
friends of yours?
No, they're not friends of mine. I was here in the restaurant waiting for you when these two approached me and pretty much told me to follow them outside. As you saw, they're a lot bigger than me, stronger as well.
Okay, well, you won't mind if we take those nasty glaives that you were pointing out?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Please, spoils of war go to the victor, after all.
I will search them more thoroughly just to make sure. Maybe there's like a payment or like instructions to, kill this guy.
Go ahead and give me a perception check then.
That is a 14 plus 9, so that is a 23.
All right, so you do notice their weapons, of course. It is a tactical battle axe and a tactical meteor glaive.
Oh, those are nice. I remember looking at those before.
So you find a pair of each. The meteor glaive just sounds awesome, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And on each of them, you find a couple of cred sticks. And as you take a look at the cred sticks, you can see that there is 3,000 credits on each one, and it looks like you can kind of tell that the deposits were recent, like it's a very new cred stick,
right? But nothing else, no like crumpled up pieces of paper. It says like beat up the little bot.
Nope.
Okie dokie.
No crumpled up paper.
Is there like a dumpster?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a dumpster back here. It's behind an organic bar, after all.
Okay, well, that's where to put the trash, so let's do that.
Nicely done.
I just want to let you know that my autocorrect changed cred sticks to breadsticks.
I'm going to allow it.
Yeah. Wow, I really went breadsticks now. Holy crap.
I know, right?
Olive Garden after this, guys? Sorry.
Hold on. Did we actually secure some advertising rights from Olive Garden? I don't think we should be just mentioning any old breadsticks. Right? Let's get paid for this.
Podcast sponsored by
Olive Garden.
Got to get that sweet Olive Garden money.
Yeah. Do they? You said they were cyborgs. Did they happen to have any like augmentations in them that are removable?
You try hard enough.
That's true too. You can just rip out the organic components. That's fine. But no, nothing that strikes you as is easily removable.
Okie dokie. Well, let's. I'll drop them in the trash and head on back in.
Thank you for helping. I don't know what would have. I don't know what would have happened if you didn't arrive when you did.
Well,
nothing good.
I think depending on what you say inside will determine whether or not you end up like them. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go inside then. Come on, quickly.
This information that you can offer had better be good.
You can go ahead and move yourselves inside if you want.
Oh, they have a pool table. Holy shit.
Yeah, and just listen to that music too.
Okay, so he's around there, so dun. I will take up this corner.
I imagine if there are any other people like in that corner, you guys just shoo them out. Make a quick culture check while you're in here.
Culture?
That is a 9.
I get a 6.
Well, luckily, the DC on that was really low because you're trying to identify what this place is, and you can tell that it is a strip club for organics. You can tell because of the little runway in the middle there.
Oh, right, yeah. I say it didn't even occur to me.
Maybe they thought it was like a miniature, like air base or something like that.
Notice the arrows are pointing outwards. It's only for takeoffs. Take off, get it? I crack myself up. Anyway, thank you again for saving me. My name is Nico, and I think I might have some information that might help your friend Magnum. I wasn't able to speak to him during the announcement phase yesterday, but you all came in together, so I assume that you are all friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should assume that.
He's on trial right now, so if there's any way you could speed this up, if there's something helpful, we need to get it to him soon.
Well, I might be able to help. I'm not certain. I used to work in orbital communications. I was, as I'm sure you're aware here, I'm a mechanical being like yourselves, I worked in orbital comms when the theft happened, on the day of the theft. That was my shift.
Oh.
And I saw a communication earlier that day between someone I recognized and someone I didn't. It was between Junior Administrator Reutingens and someone who looked like you folks, maybe a Cybertronian. I am not certain. He called himself Quick Switch. I had never seen or heard of him before, but they were talking about a deal. Reutingens would provide a way to get the crystal in exchange for Cybertronian technology, like weapons, transportation, shielding, stuff like that. Go ahead and make a quick culture check on that.
It's a little bit better.
That's much better.
21 for me.
17 for me.
Wildstrike, you don't quite put the pieces together for, but Carapace, maybe just talking to Magnum over like the last few weeks, you've picked up a couple of things. What he's describing is an act in violation of the Tyrest Accords. It is completely illegal by Cybertronian agreement, and of course you recognize that any time a non-Cybertronian would get access to Cybertronian technology, it is completely against intergalactic accords. So just the very idea of this is highly illegal, specifically to Cybertronians, but also the Galactic Council does not look kindly upon that.
Do you have any evidence to support this?
I saw the communication and I kept it within my memory banks. I thought that it might have been relevant or important later on. So I have a recording from my optical sensors and my auditory sensors.
That's good.
Okay. Do you know who that other person was? The non-quick switch, the other person?
Reutingens is he was a junior administrator. He's still in the government now. I mean, he's a long-lived organic. He's as far as I know, he's still alive and still works in the bureaucracy.
Okay, so I have two questions. One, why are you telling us this? What benefit does this to you?
It seems a miscarriage of justice for someone who might not have done what he is accused of to be put in prison for this, put in prison for the theft of the binding crystal. And this is a very big deal to our culture. I mean, I know that you two are foreigners here, and you're not part of Scarvixian culture, but this is a very, very big theft, and we've been waiting to have it solved for hundreds of years. And the fact that I know anything about this has bothered me for decades, for centuries.
Okay.
You can make a sense motive if you want.
I would. 14 plus 2. So that is a 16.
You get the sense that he's just like it's kind of bothered him over the course of time, and now that this is all coming to the forefront, he feels like he should say something. It doesn't feel like he's trying to deceive you.
He's a person that actually has like a conscience and stuff like that. Okay, that's great. That's we can use that.
Also a rarity in this game, isn't it?
Yes, that's why I'm just like, wow. It's like, hey, I got this artifact that I need you to crush into your heel. Cool, thank you. And second, are you willing to, I guess, what would be the phrase, like, turn state's evidence or, be a witness in this?
Be a witness would be it.
Yeah, turn state's evidence is more criminal, which is not the same thing, I guess.
On one condition. No matter what happens, no matter whether your friend is found guilty or innocent, you take me off this planet. Because I don't feel that, especially after what just happened, I don't feel that there is going to be a place here for me after this trial is over. If I say anything about this, I haven't even said anything yet, and I'm already getting attacked.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask. Like, there will be consequences to doing this, and most people would not be willing to deal with that. So, but yes, I agree to take you off Cybertron or off of Scarvix.
Yeah, I don't see that being an issue.
Then I will help in whatever ways I can.
Okay.
And you can kind of see, like, even though he's mechanical, you can really kind of see, like, the nervousness of what he's doing here. I mean, you get, it's effectively, like, you get the sense that it's, like, he's about to testify against the mob.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, this is somebody who's, like, a high up in the government. And it's not even just, like, government. I mean, this is a religious artifact, so it's, like, church government. Like, so it's just like, oh, wait, like, you're going to countermand the word of a cardinal? And it's like, yes. It's like, okay. So are you good with computers?
I'm decent with them, yeah. I mean, like I said, I worked in orbital communications, so certainly.
Okay, so that wasn't a yes. Okay, thank you. Well, do you guys want to finish your drink, or do you think we should bring this back to them immediately?
We should probably go back immediately.
Why did I ask? I knew you were going to say that.
You just want to drink, don't you?
I mean, not to obviously not to downplay it, but I mean, like, I just lost like 65 hit points, or 65 stamina points. Like those were really hard hits.
Just so you know, guys, you probably know that you wouldn't be able to give us any information or talk to us for probably at least another couple hours.
Thank you. Drinks it is.
Oh, okay.
So if you come back, you're just going to be sitting around waiting.
If there's nothing else, you guys go ahead and order some drinks. The Nico over here gets himself a cherry scream. It's very red.
Is it the time of day where organics are undulating in front of us? And are they limited to humanoid forms, or are they like octopus and?
Oh no! This like I said, this is a mixed planet. So you have like humanoid organic things. You have mechanical beings. You have cyborgs. You have things that just look like just bizarre like abominations from hell.
Okay, so there's like a Ninja Turtle in a thong, right? Okay, with a TV screen for a head.
Was that from Fooly Cooly?
No, I was quoting from Saga, but that's
okay. Yes, Ninja Turtle in a thong with a TV for a head. There's actually a quartet of them.
Oh man. Well, we're just to be sure, they're all of the appropriate age. These are not teenage.
Man, it doesn't matter when it's Arcturian.
With that combat out of the way, we need to take a trip back to the courthouse. So last time we were at the courthouse, we just had an outburst from this guy standing in one of the galleries. Now, I want either of you two, Sweet Spot or Magnum, to go ahead and make a culture check, because the judge, Stanzamt, did drop the guy's name, and let's see if you recognize who he is.
I'll give it a little culture check.
Give it a shot.
I'll do a little slow roll here.
23. Shake a little dice, do a little roll, get cultured.
We look at each other at the same time and go, is that?
I
Fill in
think
the
it
gap,
is.
Mike? Yeah, I got a 23 as well.
23, buddies. With a 23, you recognize the name that the judge had said. It was a Mr. Nigel, I believe it was Nigel. And that is actually an important name with the theft of the crystal. 232 years ago, the head of the ministry there was a guy named Tyzul Nigel. And that's kind of where you recognize the name from. Now, the head of the ministry, when the theft happened, was an organic being, and he likely died several, either a century or 2 centuries ago. But it does strike you as strange that the guy who made an outburst, made a fuss about this in the courtroom, shares the same last name as him, and it stands to reason that he is related to him in some way.
I'm not sure really what to do with that information right now, but it's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Miguel. That's the head of the ministry. Back then it wasn't Miguel. I think I remember reading that somewhere in the case file.
Yeah. I wonder what his interest is right now. I mean, beyond the normal interest that he'd have.
Well, if I were to speculate, I guess there would be a fair amount of blame put on his ancestor, and he's probably looking to get a little justification, little clearance of his family name.
Well, that's a good thinking. He might be just really eager to get this trial finished.
Prosecutor Alonia, you may present your next piece of evidence.
Next, I call von Zegard, who was the first of the scene. Snail of Alderak.
And this very old-looking organic person comes up from the witness section. He looks very, very old, like white hair, big, long beard. It looks like he is a very long-lived organic being, but he's certainly kind of coming towards the end of his life at this point.
Sinal, could you please tell the court about your job as the ministry 232 years ago?
And he's speaking, but it sounds like either his vocal cords or his neck. Something was wrong with it, and he has a voice box that has been attached in order to get his speech out.
I was guard. My partner and I patrolled the halls each night.
Please describe the events that took place on the day of the theft.
We just got off our break. We took it late because we were cleaning up some trash in the aeronautics hall. We didn't get to the Temple of Religious Artifacts until an hour and a half after we would usually get there.
And as he's talking, you can see that he's really struggling to speak.
On the way into the temple, we run into a bot carrying a case, walking out. Nearly knocks us flat on our butts. He looked just as surprised to see us. We drew our weapons, but he ran between us, knocked us over, and ran down the hall. He was faster than us, and by the time we got to our feet, he was already down the hall. We called it into Central, but we never saw him again.
Is that robot in this room?
Yes.
Please point him out.
And he raises his frail arm and gestures towards Magnum's transformed body.
Administrator, I have the report filed by Signal and his partner Bossler. It confirms his testimony, and I would like it added into evidence to further solidify the defendant's guilt.
Alleged.
I'm sorry, the alleged guilt. No further questions.
Just with the way that he's speaking, obviously it could just be extreme old age, but it also could be something like a domination or a charm effect, somebody trying to influence them. So anybody in the room that has sense motive abilities would be able to notice something like that.
I already sent a message to Magnum.
That's what I was thinking. Pythagoras, I'm going to do a sense motive on him and a scan.
Okay. So go ahead and roll up your sense motive. What do you got?
So there's a 22.
You get the sense that it is very likely just old age and the fact that he's talking through like the voice box and talking through mechanical means. His eyes do seem clear, and it seems like he has his faculties. It's just that physically he's having difficulty dealing with the actual speaking part. This is probably the most he's spoken in, who knows, probably like weeks or months. And I will give you that it looks like the voice box itself was likely like newly installed, probably for this purpose here, so he could actually speak.
Did you detect any transmissions that would correspond to what he's saying?
Nope. No, well, you're detecting plenty of transmissions around, but nothing that is directed to that device.
I was going to say, wouldn't it be funny if they just hacked his voice so that
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He thinks he's saying one thing, but actually something else is coming out.
Yeah. It was like one of the villains in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like that, you know?
Back then, I remember I was wearing an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time.
So do you guys want to say anything? You do have the right to question him if you want, but otherwise it is good. You do have access to the report that he had filed, and it does corroborate his statement. So it tracks with what he was saying.
Does it give a description of a bot?
Yes, it does. And
an actual bot with legs and arms and everything?
Yes, it does.
All right. Let me take this one.
Okay. I'm not sure how much hay you're going to make out of the alt form thing, but you might do something with the face.
And the description does match the description. It does match with Magnum.
I will stand up and come over to the witness stand. I'm sorry, sir. Could you state your name one more time for me?
Sinew of Adarak.
Sinew. If you don't mind me calling you Sinew. The report that you filed so long ago says that on, and I'll misquote the date on purpose, that you ran into someone fleeing from the scene, a bot, in fact.
The date is incorrect. It is 3 days after the dates you claim.
Oh, you are correct, sir. I do apologize. My memory is not as good as some people in the room. My congratulations to you. Now, on that day, you claimed that a bot, and I will give the description pretty much verbatim from his own report, confronted you and was able to get away. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you identified the defendant that is basically planted in place right over there, did you not?
His robot form. His human form.
Humanoid, to be clear. The report does not state that he actually transformed at all during your confrontation, did it?
No, I never saw him transform.
How could you identify the alt form in the courtroom right now as the bot that was confronting you so very, very long ago?
Because I was here when he transformed.
Very good.
And that tracks for you as well. You recognize that he was sitting in the
courtroom.
In the courtroom when he transformed.
All right. I am going
that's
to
really bad practice.
Yeah. I'm going to attempt to stealthily come over this way while talking softer and softer and see if he's able to track my movement. And here is a stealth check. for that. Make any modifiers you want, because I'm right in front of him. I'm still talking to him. And, courtroom's really well lit. I'm out in the open, whatever that is.
What'd you roll?
33 is what I rolled. Plus whatever modifiers you want to throw on top of there.
Yeah, he does follow. It's not like immediate, so you can see his head does turn, but it turns slower than you moving around him.
When you engaged the bot, obviously he did knock into you.
Yes.
At what distance were you when you were able to recognize not just the form of the bot, but the face of the bot for positive identification?
He was on top of us. The door opened. We opened the door, and he was standing there. It looked like he was leaving. So he was as close to me as you are to me.
So the door opened, and he took you by surprise?
Yes.
If you don't mind my asking, what race are you, in particular?
I am an Adorkian. from Adarak.
An Adorkian from Adarak. So, Adorkians, how
are you surprised?
How long do y'all usually live, lifespan-wise?
For the honorable attorney, please get to the point with the questioning. As you can see, he is an exceptionally frail and old being.
Of course. This is the point I was about to drive home exactly. That his testimony, albeit a courageous act at this man's age, it may not be entirely reliable considering his advanced age. So, if you could answer me this, sir. How old do Adorkians typically live?
What time is it?
Why is that important?
The oldest Adorkian on record is 280 years old.
But that's not average now, is it, sir?
No.
Right. So what is the average life expectancy of a male Adorkian, sir?
230 years.
And your encounter with the bot in your report happened 200 and how many years ago?
32.
232 years ago. And that's when you were at your prime. You had lived a number of years before that, of course.
Yes.
Very good, then.
Go ahead and make give me a diplomacy check.
Why not?
Go ahead and do it. You've already excoriated this guy in front of the court. Pretty much just called him old.
Yeah.
Let's see how well it tracks with the council members here.
Hopefully they're not all Adorkians of advanced age. I got a 26, and with any help at all from Pythagoras, I would bring that up to a 28 for Sweet Spot. It's not a 232, but it's fair.
You kind of get the sense that you can kind of hear the murmurs of the rest of the gallery saying like, oh, yeah, he is pretty old, isn't he? Yeah, he is. That's really old for an Adorkian. My. Maybe he doesn't have a good memory. You can kind of just hear the murmur, like the rhubarb of the crowd.
You mean the rabble?
Rhubarb. I prefer rhubarb.
Okay. Harumph. All right, I'll just wrap it up then. Well, if your testimony is to stand, it's certainly a testimony to how desperate the prosecution is to get a witness, any witness at all, to corroborate their wild accusations against my client. the defendant. I have no further questions, Your Honors. And thank you for your service, sir. Playing to the vets.
And Sinul will head off, and you can kind of hear the prosecutor under her breath saying,
"It was over 200 years ago. Who do you expect us to find the witnesses?"
That's sort of their problem.
Yeah. You need me to do your job too? I'll say under my breath.
Prosecutor, you may call for your final piece of evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. The last recording I would like entered into evidence is footage from the Ramhamfed port the evening of the theft. The defendant brazenly escaped from the city barely an hour after stealing the crystal, while the authorities scrambled to find out what
Objection,
happened.
Your Honor. Alleged.
My apologies, the alleged defendant. He was already on his way to a ship to smuggle the crystal off-planet.
And she will call up a series of video footage from multiple angles, showing someone who looks an awful lot like Magnum, holding the same case seen in the other two videos. It shows him traversing the main spaceport of Scarvix, bypassing several security checkpoints. And he bypasses them by showing a badge that security examines and scans. The officers wave him through security very quickly after that.
What kind of angle you want to go with here?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what it actually shows. Does it show him getting into the spaceship with the Huzuma dinghy, or does it just show him going through?
It'll actually show you getting onto the ship, or a ship. Imagine it's like security. It's essentially security footage from an airport. Like there's multiple angles. Like you'll see you go around down a hallway, but it won't pick up the next one until another hallway. So it's not 100% continuous, but there are multiple angles, and it does show you entering, going through security checkpoints, and getting on a ship. And the entire time you have the case with you.
So is the when he's being scanned and the guards are looking at his badge, is he moving kind of too quickly? Is it that's diplomatic immunity, let this fucker through?
Yeah, that's the vibe that you're getting, or that's the vibe that those two are getting from those videos. They're not examining his case, and they're not really checking him out too thoroughly.
So we never actually get a look inside the case from this video.
Correct.
So it could be anything inside that case.
Sure.
It's not even necessarily the same case.
Who knows?
All right.
Are there security logs from that far back showing what was scanned, or is it literally I see it, I let them through, or is it like a piece of technology where a badge is swiped or something?
I would think that is probably the origin of the forged document that they're talking about.
Part of it, yeah.
So, the one point is that it shows him going through this, but it doesn't add anything or take anything away.
Mike also said
it doesn't prove guilt or innocence.
Right. Mike also said that the bot looked like Magnum an awful lot, but I'm guessing from the angle of the video or something, we can't get a positive close-up ID.
What I really want to know is any of all these videos and pictures we've seen, have we seen his face at all in any detail?
Oh, yeah. You would have seen his head, your original head.
What does he look like?
Do you remember what you look like?
No, he doesn't remember what he looks like.
I will let you describe that, because I'm not going to tell you what you look like.
I have to think about that, then I'll just leave it alone. Just tell me if you say it's accurate, then I'll just leave it. But it's obvious that he looks different as facially. I'm not sure if that gets us anywhere.
I imagine you're hideous. I don't know why I imagine that, but I do.
Yeah, Pythagoras was definitely an upgrade.
Yeah. I don't know. The main thing is what bearing does this have on anything? Yes, he's going, he's leaving. That doesn't connect, doesn't prove innocence or guilt or anything.
In fact,
it doesn't.
According to the forged documents, it's someone else altogether.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're trying to pin it on our client simply because he looks like this guy.
Like facial recognition is so much a part of identity.
Yes.
It's like really, if you take that away, you take like 90% of what people identify.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a defensive conversation we'll have.
Yeah.
Don't forget that mechanical beings, their bodies are far more unique to each other than like organic bodies. Like, if you're right, like if you chopped like our heads off, it'd be very difficult to tell, the difference between like Pat's body and my body,
especially since you're missing a head.
Color.
Especially since you're missing a head now. I mean, that tends to
right. Even organics have things like fingerprints that could identify us without the head. It's just you have to have those on file.
I guess the question is, what do mechanical beings look at first? I guess if you have a red fender on your chest, that's going to narrow it down a bit.
Are you trying to say I should have a red fender on my chest?
No, you're very stylish as is. Wouldn't change a thing.
I thought you liked the way I look.
Most definitely, especially when you disappeared in the middle of the courtroom.
Shazam!
So what's the argument here? What are you going to say?
Maybe just state for the record that this is interesting, but it doesn't prove anything because it's just him going through checks. So, do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I think it's your turn.
Your Honors, I do not object to this evidence, but I would like to put in the qualifier that this evidence does not seem particularly relevant, as it doesn't have any bearing on guilt or innocence. It simply depicts someone traveling through checkpoints.
I will assist with the most diplomatic role I can muster.
So go ahead and see if you can convince the judges then. Go ahead and give me a roll. Diplomacy or profession lawyer.
Well, diplomacy, I have aided my good co-litigator with a 20, which will give him a +4 to his roll.
I got a 23, so that brings me up to 27.
You guys are killing
27.
That's it. Nothing but courtroom adventures from now on.
Magluck.
Carapace, do not eat your gun.
I'm both bailiff and executioner.
Saves money that way.
I'm going to allow it.
I guess that's what we got.
So that means we are at the end of day 2 of the prosecution's phase. And the prosecution has put forth all of the evidence that it has. Now, we still need to have the actual medical examiner come in and do the scan of you, Magnum, and the police report from Aktsam still needs to be given to you, and they will be given to you by the end of the day, so you'll be able to take a look at that to prepare your defense. But here is what I want you guys to do. I want you to make a sense motive roll, because I want you to see if you can kind of figure out what the mood of the court is. Kind of just how far do you think you've damaged the prosecution's case?
All right. Magnum got a 30 for his sense motive,
and Sweet Spot got a 28. 27, sorry. Looking at the wrong number there.
Sense motive is his thing. Anyway.
So, after a full day of litigation, you think that you were able to downplay 2 of the pieces of evidence, which means that if the verdict were to be delivered right now, Magnum would be guilty. And we'll see you next time.
Oh, shit, that's going to be tough then. So we're going to have to, up our game.
We're often enough.
Well, we still haven't had...
From the Secret Files of Teletran 1, Empire of Rust is written and GM'd by Michael Ordway. Headmaster Magnum and his partner Pythagoras are played by Matthew G. Candidate Sweet Spot, representative of Velocitron, is played by Adam H.U. The Decepticon warrior, Wildstrike, is played by Mike M. And Carapace, the beast soldier of primitive Eucharis, is played by Patrick Finn. Additional characters are played by Michael and Cassandra Ordway. Empire of Rust is supported by the humans and networks of planet Earth, whose online networks provide access to libraries of sound effects and music, such as Storyblocks, Zasplat, Blue Zone, and Dark Fantasy Studios. We are distributed by the Transmissions Podcast Network. Stay up to date with all the latest news and reviews in the world of the Transformers by going to transmissionspodcast.com or searching for the Transmissions in your podcast app of choice. You can communicate with the heroes of Iacon by joining us on the Transmissions Discord channel. There you can discuss episodes, talk to the cast, and download the rule set used in the Empire of Rust. Teletran 1, signing off.